Collectors going digital and Jan collects beyond the drop. Let's collect, let's connect. Beyond the drop. We collect. And we collect with collectors going digital and Jan collects beyond the drop. Let's collect, let's connect.
All right, guys, welcome today for a special episode of Beyond the Drop, episode 35. And in a couple of minutes, we will have Ted Smith, the CEO of Candy Digital, here as a guest. And Josh and I are excited as hell. But first of all, Josh, welcome.
Love how you're always looking next to me now. You're getting the direction right.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, this is the first back-to-back streams you and I have done. But yeah, what Jan said, we have the CEO of Candy popping in a few minutes. So before that happens, what we want to do is the new Candy site dropped yesterday. So we're just going to kind of take a little look at that real quick. And then I know Jan also has an article that he wants to look at, and then we'll hop into that interview. So
yes, really excited, guys. Really, really excited. So yeah, let's jump into it.
Let's connect. Beyond the drop.
all right, so this is the new site. I'm logged in. So this is not the starting screen. You got to sign in first. What's that?
Wait a sec here. I'm twice on the screen.
Oh, my bad. I don't know why that happened. This is the new site. So,
yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of positive feedback on the socials about the site. Like the Candy community was hyped about it. You can definitely say that, and I think it looks really clean. To be fair,
I think this looks super clean.
Mm-hmm.
If that's going to be their unboxing or whatever, that's awesome. The MLB theme as well.
Mm-hmm.
I also I was able to find my back cowl now. Found it.
Yeah, nice.
I got this a long time ago, and I never kind of.
When did you get it?
Oh gosh, this would have been. Let's take a look. I think this was a free drop though, if I remember right. I didn't pay for this.
Okay. Still looks sick.
This would have been a couple of years ago now, I think.
Okay.
At least. So I don't know if anyone knows in the chat. We got Duck in the chat. What's up, man? Carlos is here as well. Let's do this. And then I also have this San Diego Comic-Con 2024. I don't know when I got this. I didn't go to San Diego Comic-Con 2024, so. But I'm not complaining.
Yeah, obviously not, buddy.
And then they have MLB, DC, Netflix, Getty Images, Sweet Futures, Candy Racing, WWE, and Palm Garden. Netflix is it's an interesting one.
Nice. Alrighty, I have to quickly repost here this stream on X. And guys, if you're watching, help us out here today and share the live stream on X on Josh's channel. That would be awesome, because we want to have a lot of people seeing this discussion, because I think that will be a really, really interesting and important one. So help us out here before Ted comes on. That would be killer. At Candy. Alrighty.
Yeah, so there's this article they posted. I don't think we're going to go through the full thing. If we have time, we can. But what fans can expect today. So a new way to view your assets. Fans will now see a new product detail page when clicking into an item from their collection. This page gives fans a closer look at each asset, including decentralized images, videos, metadata, player attributes, on-chain serial numbers, and edition size information when applicable. For DC3 comics, fans will also see a view comic button that opens the comic reader. Migration progress tracking. Each item detail page will also include a migration status progress bar. That's cool.
Yeah.
When an asset reaches 100%, that item will be on Solana and in the fan's wallet.
Yeah, I love the transparency on that part.
Did they mention how long the migration is going to take? I know that they're migrating a few million collectibles.
It says in the article where they aim for, but it's not a fixed date because sometimes it can take a little bit longer on Solana, and they don't really have like an impact on like the transaction part there. So is the migration part?
That's not the actual 101 back cowl. That's the legacy cowl. Yeah, I can't remember how I got that. I just did something, and then they airdropped it for free to the. You had to fill out a form or something. We got Wolverine in the chat too. What's going on? What's going on? Appreciate the share, Duck. Candy has generated wallets for fans whose assets are being migrated. Starting today, fans will be able to see their public wallet key and view their wallet on chain. And assets complete migration. As assets complete migration, they will appear in that wallet. Tongue twister there. Updated terms and policies, the boring stuff. What fans can expect in the coming weeks. Targeting on or around June 8th for migration completion. Candy is targeting on or around June 8th for the next major milestone. This timing is not guaranteed because the speed of the Solana blockchain can vary, especially with a migration of this size. Once migration is complete, fans will be able to reveal their private keys, take custody of their wallets, and access full secondary trading for legacy assets on supported Solana marketplaces, including Magic Eden. Secondary trading is coming after migration. More burning and credit tools are planned. Balance options are tentatively targeted for June 16th. And then new sales will follow when the platform is ready.
Yeah. Really, really looking forward to that. I mean, it's been quite some time, or quite a ride, as you can say it, for the Candy and Bad Cowl community. So I'm really happy for them to see like the direction all this is going now, and yeah, pretty excited about that.
What are all the Candy fans thinking of though? The new website. I only have 2 items, so I don't exactly have a lot to mess around with here. But I mean, from what I see, it's pretty easy to get around. It's fast too, no lag or anything.
Yeah.
They said it's a new details page though, so this is all new apparently.
Yeah, it's way more detailed than before, as far as I understand. So, yeah. King Marcus.
I remember how I got
Rising. Yes.
This patch has revealed a Snapchat of the Swarm's direct feed that can be accessed without danger of. No, that's not how I got it. Click here. No, it's not clickable. I never had any Candy stuff, but I'm still super excited about all of this. Great for all of us. Yeah, we're in some pretty exciting times. And I saw the comment about no Candy on Collect. They just switched to Solana. So I don't think that was ever kind of going to be a thing, at least in the short term, maybe in the long term, but.
Yeah. And to Doug's point here, with not having Candy stuff, I think it's just great for the community overall that more and more like projects come back to life and actually leveling up here in terms of visibility, in terms of delivering for their fans. So yeah, really cool to see that.
I'm really curious though to see how his experience in the physical world plays into now this company. Because, and specifically his experience with Sotheby's. Mm-hmm. That's a really interesting role. And so he's been involved in some high ticket sales already. So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Oh, the Champ Knuckles Maldon. Oh God, that was a hard name. Thanks for tuning in here today. First time viewer and DC MLB collector. Great to have you here, my friend. Thanks for the support.
that's the Poison Ivy cowl. Oh yeah, this is the only one I have. My bad. I don't know which one's the legacy one. This is the one that I have. It looks cool. Now they're going to concentrate on sports stuff. I might actually buy some candy. Yeah, the MLB is going to be their biggest focus, I hear right now, at least while they're taking care of the comic stuff. What's going on, Dell? Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, I mean, the whole sports vertical can be also really, really interesting. I mean, if we are looking at Panini blockchain, I mean, there's like one high sale after another, like all the time. There's like new all-time high sales over there with their products. So, I mean, sports, huge market overall, right?
Huge. It's going up too right now. I keep watching. I don't know if anyone watches him on YouTube, but he's called the king of. I think it's king of collectibles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's big in the sports card trading world. I actually just saw a video of him giving away a $6,000 card to a kid the other day at one of the conventions. He walks up with a certain player, and he was doing a giveaway with, I think it was Topps, and Topps had given him a card.
Yeah,
it was like $5-6 grand, and it was the one of the player that the kid had. I was like, that's super cool, because that kid's never going to forget that, obviously.
Yeah, core memory there, 100%, buddy.
That's another company, though, Topps, that's doing more of that now, is trying to merge physical and digital stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. So, guys, we are seeing here today's guest hopped into the studio. So I would say let's start with the show. And today's guest, as I already said, is Ted Smith, the new CEO of digital collectibles platform Candy Digital. Before that, he was CEO at Sotheby's and the Madison Square Garden Company, and he also serves as chairman of Doodles. And like us, he is a passionate collector. So welcome to the show, Ted. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Let's connect. Be on the top.
Ted, welcome. It's not like that Josh and I haven't practiced the intro, so sorry for that. Great to have you here. We're really looking forward to that discussion and hearing your perspective on like the future of Candy. And with that, I would hand over the mic to Josh here.
Yeah, Todd, it's an absolute pleasure. Really appreciate you taking the time, and we look forward to hearing a little bit more about the platform, and then also just getting to know you a little bit more. So, first off, how's everything? How are you?
Oh, it's great. The site relaunched yesterday, late yesterday Eastern time. Cleaned up a few bugs, still cleaning up little odds and ends, but I was just on the phone with both the head of AI and the CTO and was telling them it was honestly amazing that they were able to pull it off. It's a real statement about how the tech stack has changed in the last year, that how fast really motivated people using the best new technology can launch something in a really, really good way. So it's the beginning of a journey, not the end of one. Sort of call it the end of chapter one, or maybe the bottom of the first, top of the second. But we're on our way, and it was really very, very exciting. Thank you.
It's great to hear. Well, I want to kind of transition into the first question here, and we want to kind of start with your experience a little bit before Candy, specifically Sotheby's. I think that role is super cool. But having kind of led one of the oldest names in the art world and dealt with higher end sales
in the whole world.
In the whole world, yeah.
Not
Yeah.
not the oldest names in the art world, the oldest names in the whole world. So
What did your experience kind of dealing with the higher end physical art world teach you, and how is that kind of playing into your experience now with Candy?
so it taught me a whole bunch of things, but one thing is that if things are not producing cash flow, they can still have value. And moreover, that reasonable people can disagree on the value, and that you can have a relatively robust market where things don't produce cash flow, and they can have value in one way to one person, another way to different person. And moreover, there's an interesting conversation. Adalia is jumping into the show there. There's an interesting conversation about how narrative either leads price or price leads narrative. I think in markets where there is a ready trading price, the price typically sets the narrative. But in things like the art market or other kinds of mimetic collectibles, the narrative will often lead the price. So just food for thought. How about that to get you started?
Sure.
Yeah, sounds awesome. And I mean, when you bought Candy, you said like you're doubling down on digital collectibles, and the question is why now, right now? Because we're seeing like the overall space evolving in a good direction, I would say. But I would like to hear your take on like the time frame and the time of acquiring.
Well, good question. But let me start with the premise, which is really interesting. If not now, when? Would it be better 3 years ago when we did not have agentic AI to help make the cost of the tech stack plummet? Would it have been better 4 years ago or 4.5 years ago when we had a frothy, hype-driven bubble in some of these things? Would it be better 2 years ago when we did not have a way, for example, using Metaplex Core on Solana to provide self-custody and security outside of a walled garden? Would it be better 5 or 7 or 8 years ago when the idea of digital collectibles was simply someone's fancy?
Yeah. Totally got it.
So if not now, when? Now's the time.
Yeah. So I mean that would conclude that you think that the digital collectibles space has like a bright future in front of it. And yeah, let us talk a little.
In what world that we live in, if you look back over history, has digital not over time become a larger proportion of the total? Okay, well, maybe food.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know about you. Maybe digital homes. I don't know what a digital home is, but even in that, by the way, robots are building homes now in ways that are interesting. So why, in a world of collectibles or art or anything like that, any sort of mimetic, emotion-driven or identity-driven or frankly utility-driven activity, would digital not be on the side of innovation and technology and development and growth and expansion? Well, sure, it can get ahead of itself and then retract. I mean, you see that with markets all the time. But it doesn't mean that if you take a multi-year view, that now is not a fantastic time to think about the future and lean into it. And I'm bullish.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're bullish. And I think that
neither here nor there, of course. I'm entitled to be bullish, or everyone's entitled to take the other side of the trade. Obviously, it's not financial advice. So,
of course, and I know that given what happened back in 2020, 2021, there was a lot of the scams and just negative stuff happening in the space that turned away a lot of people. So,
by the way, justifiably,
of course, yeah.
I mean, well, it was it's a lot of silliness going on.
For those people now who are looking back at the space, for someone who loves collecting but feels maybe burned in some way, what would you tell someone like that before they give digital collecting another try?
Well, That's a very good question. I think I'm not in a position to give any particular individual advice on whether they should be digitally collecting or not. But I am delighted to tell you how I think about it, because I collect both physical and digital, both, and I can explain how I think about the digital. Um, for
Please.
me, digital collecting, whether it's art or anything else, but we'll do art for just as an example, um, to me, creates the opportunity to experience a medium that is emergent as opposed to traditional, where the level of experimentation is relatively high because it's new and
Hmm.
people are trying new and different things,
Mhm.
where you can surprise someone with utility or different applications that are really quite startling and amazing and beautiful, where it tends to, I have to say, digital stuff tends to attract a younger demographic, a more avant-garde demographic, a more emergent creative force, than the more traditional ways to think about it. And frankly, the energy that guys like you bring to it is tremendously um, energizing and often to a collector intoxicating, meaning how do you think about the instantiation of a particular baseball card or a particular bat cowl or a particular digital comic or frankly a piece of art in a completely new medium, using entirely new and emergent technologies with the energy, frankly, and invigoration of youth. That's just awesome.
Hmm.
It's the best.
Gaming, I
Yeah.
think, is a big key to it because
Gaming is perfect.
well, your comments about the virtual homes, those are really starting to pop off now, especially with AR and VR starting to unfold more.
Yeah.
So,
By
which
the
we
way, I
can
was
talk a little
way
bit
down the
about.
rabbit hole on World of Warcraft until June of 2009, and I have to say that completely opened my head and blew my mind. But I mean, really down that rabbit hole, and the reason I say that is because at the time, now that's very OG now. 2009 is a long time ago, but when I stopped playing because I was too busy. But back then, can you imagine to a person in what was then his, I think, upper 30s, low 40s,
Hmm.
how mind blowing that was. I mean, I remember, here's really OG stuff. I remember in the 70s playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I mean the old kind with, paper and
Hmm.
pencils and all, and
Yeah.
graph, like the graph paper and all the other stuff. And then to advance all those years later and then be living and breathing it in some dungeon in World of Warcraft by Blizzard. And that's still 18 years ago. And the reason I say that is because what it tells you is the digital force is at some level unstoppable. It is inevitable. And the power of the creativity and the power to open up worlds to us that we didn't understand is only accelerating. And that includes collectibles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
100%. 100%. Like what fascinated me when I joined the space in 2021 was like the like sheer amount of community and great people, like-minded people. Okay, back then there were definitely a few who were there for the money part of it, obviously, and I mean it also plays a role today.
Well,
But
people
like
have to make the rent. They got to pay rent. So, yeah,
100%, 100%.
that's just like the price of entry. You got to pay the rent.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. But like the community was what kept me here over the last couple of years because the price action was, huh.
price
Um,
action was less than, huh? It was sort of,
yeah, it was, yeah.
it was very,
But when you closed the deal, you said you will double down on community, and I would like to know what your vision for that doubling down is.
Well, first, it means regular, frequent communication with the community.
Hmm.
And I think you guys, I mean, we all follow each other on X, so you've seen that. You see that I am communicating frequently and across a whole range of topics, but all of them broadly in the zone of interest for people in the various communities that both you and I serve. Secondly, to advance the interests of the community, and this is really important, which is what are the problems that have prevented growth and development in the areas of passion that we're excited about in the past, and how can we solve some of those today? And one of the nice things about Candy is it provides a unique platform with a really incredibly talented team, of which I'm very proud to serve with, that is working on all of those things. The third thing I think is it has the opportunity to break open an entirely new industry and way of thinking about things in terms of collectibles and art that is different from anything that has happened in, really honestly, history, if you go back far enough. And then finally, I want to say, and also, if you want to think about two of the most powerful and transformative revolutions today, one is the advent of AI to make we humans vastly more productive and expansive in many ways, on the one hand. And number two, this emergent possibility of agentic activity to accelerate both economic transactions and abundance. Both of those provide what Candy does is it provides another platform both to experience all of those things and to advance those agendas and also be a beneficiary of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's-
I think what gets opened up with that technology, also in terms of utility, etc., is quite mind blowing. When
Gamification.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
So to that point, maybe we can expand on that a bit, because AR, I know VR, like Apple did their thing with the Apple Vision Pro, and wearables are becoming a more popular topic, especially in the collecting space. So how does Candy pretty much plan to adapt to the physical world merging more with the digital now? So you have AR, you have the AR glasses.
No, I'm with you.
Right?
Well, so honestly, guys, we've only had a working site other than the interim site for something like 18 hours, maybe 20 hours. So maybe give me a few more weeks and invite me back, and then we can talk about that. What do you think?
I mean, you're welcome back here on the channel, and
Why
then we
don't
can
you give
talk
me
about
more
that
than
topic.
No, we've sort of been focused on the here and now, honestly, rather than you're asking a big and very powerful, expansive question. But I don't yet have a vision for the phygital, for lack of a better way to say it. But I will say I do have a firm vision for how to apply certain features of the sale and marketing and community oriented around physical and in real life type experiences into the digital environment, such as auctions, such as the gamification of the purchasing, such as community activities, such as how do we marry the ability of going to a game to the collection of the assets from a game. Things like that I'm very focused on. But the broader point that you ask is a very powerful one. I'm just not prepared to answer much about that today.
Okay.
Because it's way ahead of my thinking at the moment. Thank you for asking, though.
We had Will, the CEO of Digitoys, recently on the channel as well, and he talked.
Well, you should ask him. He'll educate us.
We did.
Yeah.
But he was also talking about getting communities together, and all a rising tide lifts all boats, as you can say. So what is like your viewpoint on like bringing different communities together? And I mean, you were chairman or are chairman of Doodles, and we are right now seeing a collaboration between Elman X, OpenSea, and an artist with Veve together. So like a really nice cross promo. What is your take on that going forward with Candy?
Extraordinarily positive. The overall view I have on it is we are all going to benefit if each one of us does well, and it will help expand the overall market and development for our many fans around the world. And So the most important thing I have there is be positive, stay positive, spread the positive. So
Yeah, yeah. And I mean,
rather
right
than
now,
gnashing our teeth and complaining about this or that, it's just so much easier just to be positive, stay positive, spread the positive.
yeah, and I
So
mean, the overall space has a lot of reasons to be positive right now. I mean,
it
so
does, but it doesn't
many.
make people positive. What's amazing to me is some people like, you can choose to be positive or you can choose to gnash your teeth. I think it's much more fun to be positive.
100%. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And by the way, a perfect example is this show. I mean, how many people want to watch your show and hear all this gnashing of teeth? I mean, we got better things to do, which is why the positive bent that you guys bring is really powerful and very important.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As I said, the community aspect here on the channel and in our community overall is like really, really big. But while we are on the, I would say, negative points here, I mean, there are like from the traditional collectibles world, there are so many people who are like negative in terms of digital collecting because
Yes.
they can't hold it in their hand. I mean, you probably heard those points a
Sure.
couple of times. But what is your counter argument on those?
Well, first of all, I don't really have a counter argument to collectors who have reasons why they don't like digital,
Mhm.
because they're entitled to their opinion, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's a different. I think that's what you're saying. But if the question is, are physical collectors who don't like digital and don't think anyone else should like digital, and one reason is they can't hold it in their hand, well, then that's a
Mhm.
different argument, and we could have some fun with that one. I don't know
Then
about
let's
you,
do
but
that.
last time I checked, I can't hold air in my hand. Does that mean I shouldn't have it either?
Fair point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here it is. I'm still breathing it. So there are a lot of things you can't hold in your. By the way, I can't hold a really good idea or a great memory in my hand. Does that mean I shouldn't have that either? I mean, there are a lot of things you can't hold in your hand that are actually not physical, but that are extraordinarily important. I don't know about you, but I can't really hold religion in my hand. Does that mean I should just abandon it altogether? I mean, what is it? There's so many things in the world. So much of the world you can't hold in your hand, but is intrinsically human and valuable to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, that's definitely the argument a lot of people make because it's not real. It's not real. But I
Well, also,
mean,
by the way, you can't hold your checking account in your hand. Does that mean it doesn't exist?
Yeah, it's funny how people choose to pick and choose certain points and then they ignore others. So
I don't know about you. Unless you have physical manifestations of it or Casassius or something, you can't hold Bitcoin in your hand. Does that mean it doesn't exist? Now you can hold gold in your hand. I guess you can do that. So
yeah, absolutely. When we look at the like digital collectibles space, I mean, this you've mentioned AI and like how the whole like work process gets way faster and easier with AI. So probably the overall space will evolve like kind of rapidly. So where do you see like the next 5 to 10 years in this space? I mean, you've mentioned website is live for 18 hours roughly, but I mean, you will probably have a view on the overall space moving forward.
I do. I believe that the digital percentage of activity will be a significantly greater proportion of the total in 5 years than it is today, very significantly. That the growth in the total market will expand very rapidly, and it will be a migration that's not unlike lots of other kinds of physical to digital transitions all across the world that we've experienced over the last, really, frankly, 30 years. And if anything, this one will accelerate in a world where agentic enterprise makes it even faster and better. The rails of money, particularly digital money, are increasingly well established. So that issue is checked off the box. The opportunity for AI-based agents to create economic enterprise are just beginning to take off, but they're going straight up. So that one's off the list. And there's no surprise that there's a massive human demand for identity, for community, for experience, for of art or
Mm-hmm.
collectibles, or in my case, Batman, or I don't know, the New York Yankees, if you want to. All of those things have very, very strong, powerful draws. And what we simply have to do, and this is the point I was making a few minutes ago, is we have to take off the list the reasons that they have not worked yet. And those are all around security, self-custody, or the ability to have self-custody, the portability, the scarcity, all of those things. But those are all solvable problems. They're not structural problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And also like really, really important issues to tackle. And you guys are right on the
We're
right
trying to
path
take
with
them one at a time. That's exactly right. Thank you for noticing, and take them off the list. And we're making progress on that. Yesterday's relaunch was a big day for both the security and scarcity, mainly for the security and self-custody.
that. Mm-hmm.
Scarcity will also come, but it was a big day for that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Josh, sure.
Are you prepared to talk a little bit more about how Candy is using AI in setting up agents, or how you guys are using agents? In what ways?
Sure. By the way, I'm prepared. You fire any question you want to at me. The only one I ducked was the deep one you asked me that was AR, and that's a little outside my current vision on it. Just
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, no. So on AI, yes, there's no question that with agentic coding, mostly Claude, we were able to do vastly more with the site relaunch and the migration and everything else than we ever could have.
Right.
And when I say, I'm not talking by a little bit, I'm talking a gigantic leap
Mhm.
forward. Gigantic leap forward. And in terms of speed, the biggest stuff in terms of the speed is mostly in front of us, meaning the opportunity to begin to accelerate now that we've gotten the base in place was really important. I was on the phone, the chief technology officer, a little bit ago, and he made the point that there are really three phases to our overall migration of assets. One is to move the assets into Arweave. Second is to get the metadata right, so that, because once you mint it, you can't really change the metadata, not very easily. And then the
Mhm.
third is actually the actual mint to Solana. And we've done 1 and 2, and we're just kicking off. The time-consuming one is actually the mint to Solana, because there's only so much it can do. We got a lot moving, a
Mhm.
lot of digital assets moving through a relatively narrow pipe, so that will take a number of days. But on the other side of that, the point he was making, he's absolutely right, is we're going to start moving faster. And that's one of the things that I think you'll see, that the innovations that we can come on top of that will begin to accelerate. And we're really excited about that.
Does that change though how you guys present stuff though as well? Because the way I'm using AI religiously myself, Jan and I have actually built a platform in about 2 months that would traditionally take probably about 3 to 4 years to build. So in terms of speeding up stuff, we
And by the way, we
totally
did a
get
lot
that.
less expensively, I suspect.
Oh yeah,
Pretty much, well, other than paying
Yeah.
for Claude, nothing really, right? So
Right,
and
exactly.
time,
So
and time.
yeah, $200 a month, exactly.
yeah. I forgot where I was going with that.
sorry,
now. Jan, no, you're good. You're good. It'll come back to me. Jan,
Sorry
ask
to
your
interrupt you. I
question.
apologize. I'm glad. Usually that happens to me, so it's really nice to know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It must be catching.
To be on the other side is nice sometimes, right? But like the whole migration process, I mean, you guys wrote middle of June. Am I correct that you plan on that time frame roughly? Because
No, we're planning on having it wrapped up, I would say, on or about June 8th, which is Monday. And the reason I'm using the words on or about is because some of it, when it's migrating over to Solana, Solana has sometimes it takes a little longer than we think, but we're anticipating we're still sticking to June 8th. Maybe it slips to the
nice.
9th, but we're not talking the 10th
Yeah.
or 11th.
Yeah.
And it looks at the moment like the 8th is on.
totally on track, as you can
Yeah,
say.
it's on
There,
track.
huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. What was like the, I would say, after the acquisition, what was like the hardest part for you? Maybe some stuff you haven't foreseen before the acquisition. Is there anything that popped up where you like, oh damn it, I didn't see that coming?
Everything.
Okay.
So, and you guys know this, I mean, Candy, other than the fact I was paying for a sort of skeleton staff out of my own pocket months before I bought it, really had
Mm-hmm.
no employees. I mean, it was down to zero, and
Yeah.
hadn't had no revenue for months. So there
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. So you could think of it as a startup, except that it had a developed customer list and had a developed set of historical relationships, and it had some licenses that both of which needed to be assumed and taken on. So it had infrastructure in a way, but in some ways it's harder to start with something that has gone through that kind of a process and reboot it than it is to start with a greenfield slate or a greenfield site.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what I'm trying to say is it very much is an entrepreneurial activity to take something that's gone in effect to zero or even less than zero, arguably, and reboot it, or start with something that is really nothing and then boot that up. They're very similar processes. And the reason I say that is when you guys launched your business, you probably thought, oh my gosh, every little thing was unanticipated, or a huge number of things were unanticipated, I have to imagine. Well, exactly the same thing was true here, which is the bills that needed to be paid were much higher than I anticipated. The migration was initially going to be uh, easier than I expected, then harder than I expected, now about what I expected. And the
Mm-hmm.
costs were going to be significantly less, and now they're going to be significantly more. But also the opportunities were much more than I anticipated. And this
Mm-hmm.
you probably have also seen, you too, which is that when you embark on something like this, it's almost like karma intervenes, and then suddenly opportunities that you couldn't see, or as when you
Mm-hmm.
set sail,
Pop up
you head to the
left and right.
horizon. Exactly. As you get closer to the horizon, it's not like the horizon gets closer. What happens is you see more, and you see more and more opportunities farther in the distance that you never could have seen if you hadn't gotten on the boat and started sailing. And that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what we're seeing at Candy. We're seeing opportunities everywhere we look, some of them harder than we would have anticipated, and others much more exciting than we would have anticipated. And that, but similarly, there are things that were surprises that were not great surprises, but on balance, we're thrilled and privileged to be serving our incredible audience of fans. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and by the way, most importantly, we're also thrilled to be serving our licensors.
Yeah. Josh, did your question came back?
I to be honest, I can't figure out how to ask it the way that I want to ask it. So I'm going to think out loud here for a sec, because what I want to ask is, with AI now coming on the scene with more companies, people are able to work faster and also adapt quicker. So if Candy announces, let's say, a new feature, a competitor can replicate that feature in 20, 30 minutes if they want with just AI, right? So that's what I'm thinking about. I don't exactly know how to ask the question, but how does Candy, I guess, like maintain their competitive
Advantage?
Yes and no. Has come back to me. I'm sorry, Tad. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's a wonderful question. So I'd like to divide the putative answer into two pieces. One is there are some things that Candy is doing that we sort of hope other people do. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
We sort of hope others make it possible for true self-custody. We sort of hope others pick an L1 that enforces royalties and makes it possible for the royalty owners to be protected. We hope others provide the security level of an L1. We hope others increase the liquidity of the markets, of the secondary markets on the larger L1s. we hope the secondary markets on some kinds of L1s rather than other kinds of L1s also begin to accept protocols that have enforceable royalties on them, as opposed to just, maybe by chance or by contract or just not at all. Because we think all of those are very good for the ecosystem overall, and we think the market will grow. We think that a number of the problems that the folks who are very enthusiastic about physical collecting, by the way, I count myself as one of those too,
Hmm.
will embrace those things, and they'll be better for everybody. So I like all of those things, and if some aspects of what we're doing are opening new doors for others to either improve upon or go through those doors, that's beneficial to us. So we're fans. There is another view, which is how do we think about our competitive access, and that's a very interesting question. And I would say one thing that we're very tough on is our cost structure. We have half a dozen people and a few interns. That's the team. That's it. It's
Hmm.
really small. And by the way, as a guy who has had thousands of employees in the past over many, many decades, this is incredibly refreshing because it's really, really fast. And you'll see over time that we will have more and more employees, but not a lot of them. More and more of them will be, computers, to say the least. To say the least.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
second thing I would say is we are powerfully committed to our license clients, and those clients invest very substantial amounts in their brands and their properties and their digital assets. And we think that those are distinctive and have value. And we also think that the official licensed versions of those are distinctive and have value and will separate us from others that don't necessarily have those licenses in the marketplace.
Hmm. Hmm. I would like to jump on the point of royalties, because for me it feels like that, like the royalties, like from the normal person, the normal collector, are overlooked. Because if I think about like the fact I'm a big IP, I mean, those licenses will come and come and come, not in like the physical world. You get like one payday, and then the product is out. For example, a really expensive Pokemon card. You sold it really cheap in the pack, but it later got sold for, how much was it for the Logan Paul one? 15 million something. But the licensor itself got nothing from that. So what's your take on the royalty side and the benefit for the licensors?
Oh, I think it is a necessary condition that let's divide the market into two pieces. One is the primary or initial sale.
Hmm.
And of course, licensors get royalties on that. But also on the secondary market, if you two sell something between you that is based upon one of my licensed clients' technologies or brands or whatever, the idea that we charge you a modest commission that we then remit a substantial part of to the licensor um, is appropriate. Why? Because you have a limited license to use my licensor clients' brands, trademark, likeness, whatever the case might be, in perpetuity. And so they should earn a royalty to help cover the expensive investment in their brand
Hmm.
going forward. It's just completely appropriate. Um, if you talk about a specific artist or artists, well, the point I would make on this is it's not exactly revolution. And actually, you guys know this, right? Because if we sell a piece of physical art at Sotheby's in Paris, or for example, the artist or the artist estate gets a small royalty on that sale.
Hmm.
If you sell that very same piece of art in New York, you don't. So it's a
Hmm.
policy choice. And at the moment,
Ah.
if we continue, yes, exactly, you don't get
Yeah,
it in New York.
can you
You don't.
elaborate a little bit on that, because I didn't
Yeah,
quite
the
catch.
law is very clear. In the EU, you have, I've forgotten what exactly the words are, but there's a set of words. It's French that describes the royalty that artists get on secondary market sales, auction houses in particular, on their work. And if the artist is no longer living, it'll go to their estate. in the United States, that
Right.
is not the policy, that is not the law, and as a consequence, you don't get it here. But it's not, and so for many people who are used to the American system of no secondary market royalties, they think it's perfectly natural that an artist would build it once and sell it the first time, and then ever after, the secondary market sales should have no royalty for the artist.
Mm-hmm.
In Europe, that's just not the way it works. But one thing I do want to say is, it's not great for the collectors. Now, this is the big news flash. What do I mean? It is actually better for the collectors if there are modest commissions on secondary sales or modest royalties to even artists on secondary sales. Why? And the reason is because it creates two incentives that you want to have happen. The first incentive, when there are royalties on secondary sales, the licensor or the artist, whoever the creator is, will fundamentally have more incentive to create enduring works of art, and moreover, to have the collective value of that art in the future go up.
Yeah.
Why? Because they get an incentive on it.
Yeah.
And if they don't have it, the way they have to remember we talked earlier about making the rent work, or making sure you pay the rent. The way they have to do it otherwise is to flood the primary market with too much product.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? That debases or depresses, you pick the word, the value of the collectible, the value of the art, all of those things. So the reason this is so important is that every collector benefits when the secondary market is vibrant and growing, and what I sort of call up and to the right, which is not a statement about financials or anything like that. It's a statement about value, growth, acceleration, development. And I believe firmly that the secondary market is benefited by inducing licensors to want to have a healthy one, or artists to want to have a healthy one. And the way to do that is to pay them a modest royalty for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you've explained it perfectly. It makes total sense. Josh, do you have any questions on your side?
No, come back to me in a minute.
Yeah, okay. Just to check, I've discussed with Anthony. We have you for roughly 45 minutes in total. Is that correct? Just to make sure.
Yeah, sure, you're fine.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So I've seen in the comments here by D. I mean, you've been on their channels. So she said like she loves the painting to your right. Is that a specific painting? Give us like a quick take on that, or is it?
That's an artist by the name of Carlos Rolón. Carlos operates in Chicago, mainly Chicago, but also I think Puerto Rico. And this is one of two. The other one is in our Florida home, and we love that one. It's a testament to what a really talented, fabulous artist, and Carlos can do in the physical world.
Yeah. I mean, you probably see art as an investment, right? I mean, you were the CEO.
By the way,
at Sotheby.
there's one in the digital world in the distance.
Oh,
nice.
get out of here.
You guys see that?
That's very cool.
Yeah, you want to take a closer look?
Yeah.
You guys mind if
That
I
is
move?
very cool.
Or,
Yeah, let's
here,
go.
we'll give you a closer one on that one. All right, one sec here. Now, this is an artist by the name of X Shells in Panama. By the way, this is actually, your question about physical versus digital art. This is digital art, and we talked a little bit about what are the kinds of innovations you can do with digital art.
Okay. Nice. I see. Mm-hmm.
So does that just reset after a certain amount of time then, or does
it actually has a 30-minute loop, and there's you can see right there at the top of the screen, you can see right up there, it's got a sensor. You don't even touch it. What you do is you're actually walking by, breaking the airspace. And so it will change over time. But that's the sort of and by the way, this is also another piece of interesting art. But the point I'm making is physical has the beauty. Thank you, Dee, for pointing that out. I appreciate it. I love Carlos Rolón's work. But X Shells also has it. And by the way, you can already see it's changed. You see it now, it's little dots.
Yeah,
Okay. So I didn't even realize that it was on. I think my wife had slipped it on earlier today. I don't know when. But
Good
that gives
job.
you a sense for the digital experience versus the physical experience, and how they can both be incredibly enticing and attractive at the same time, but in different ways.
Well, and
Yeah.
you can do a lot more too in the digital space that's not even possible in the physical. And that's
right.
also a cool aspect of digital, I think, as well. So
That said, as one of someone had framed a question earlier to you guys, I can't hold that one, but I can sure hold this one in my hand. So there's that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
I guess something I'm just more interested in is how we're going to get more younger people involved. And I guess that's kind of where I was trying to go with the AR question earlier is the gamification element. Like how are you going to use these collectibles? What are they going to be used for? And so if I look at, a platform as an example, Veve, I can take a collectible, pop in AR, walk around it, or I can put it into a virtual environment and build a little scene around it or whatever, right? So those would be two examples. Sure. I come from the gaming world. So I'm 28. I used to build virtual environments in like Halo, Minecraft, Fortnite, and all of those.
How cool is that?
Well, I've been paid to build those environments. So when I look at these digital collectibles, it clicks and I understand it right away. But I've also gone through a completely different path than somebody who's 40. So how are we going to get the younger audience more involved? And I keep thinking just use cases with the collectibles. So what's like Candy's vision, I guess, to you, like on how to use the collectibles, I guess is where I was trying to go with the AR question.
So utility on the collectibles.
Yeah.
On this one, I think because baseball has both a real life and a virtual component, there are lots of opportunities to do something there in between the physical aspect of attending games or being a fan and the digital world of collecting things that are mementos of the experience. And some of them are as simple as you are attending a game and your favorite player happens to, hit, some incredibly important stat. You can mint a card from that very quickly, and moreover, it will be a memento from that. Moreover, you could create a physical rendition of the memento in, say, acrylic or something like that. So it gives you that. It can also give you a video embedded of that particular important moment. But you could also win awards for being at the game, or win digital awards or digital compensation. No, not compensation is the wrong word because people think of money, but digital loyalty exercises, digital rewards, digital artifacts from it. All of those things are very much possible. And then you can use the digital aspects of things in gaming experiences where you actually do create real rewards. And and some of those can be digital and some of those can be non-digital. But the point is, you can physical stuff can be rewards for digital activity or digital games or digital experiences. Digital stuff can be rewards for physical stuff and physical activities and physical games. And digital stuff can also be a reward for actually digital stuff being the reward for the digital activities. And moreover, I think it's important also to say that the act of acquiring digital things can be a game. Auctions are inherently more fun than drops. Opening packs with surprises is inherently more fun than opening a pack when you kind of know what's going to happen. All of these things are the essence of appealing to that important human experience of wanting to have fun. I mean, because why collect if it isn't fun?
Yeah. And this isn't really a question. Maybe it's just something to point out. I think you probably already know this, but just for those who are listening, one thing I've kind of started to notice a little bit more is that younger people who have gotten into this space, not all of them stick. But what I am noticing is that a lot of the ones who do stick are gamers and who are younger. And I'm heavily involved in like the Veve community. It's like that a lot. A lot of people who are in their 20s.
It's a great community, by the way.
Thank you.
Absolutely,
It
yeah.
is. It's a terrific community.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's in many ways pioneering, and I think it's terrific. So
Yeah. But just an observation I made. So it's just gamification is so key, I think, for these things. So
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Jan, do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, now after you showed us the digital art in the background,
I didn't expect to. You asked about our deal. I asked you about the art. I'm like, oh, you know, and then I happened to adjust my knee because it was down here, right? And then I adjust my knee, and I said, oh my gosh, actually, the piece by Ixchel's on. Let me show you. So
yeah, I
thanks
can't
for going with the
unsee
flow.
it now, and I can't now unsee it that it's changing all the time.
By the way, it's changing all the time, isn't it? Look, now it's got the blue thing going on.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't.
You know what that reminds me of, though? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That reminds me of a lot of like the futuristic cyberpunk video games with the screens everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
it does.
So we're really moving into those times.
I mean, you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to, but how much was this piece? And I will elaborate on the first question afterwards.
Oh, I'm not going to answer that.
So. Okay, fair point. But I'm personally listening a lot to Raoul Paul because he is also involved into the digital art space. And he says like digital art is a store of value that has potential to grow over time. And I mean, you've had contact with like most or lots of the world's like wealthiest people when you were at Sotheby's. And right now, obviously, there's a lot of money in the space overall. But do you think like even more money will come into fine digital art in the next 2-3 years?
Okay, so I have a couple of important disclosures. The first one is I'm a independent director of Raoul Pal's Real Vision.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So let me start by saying I am very friendly with Raoul and also a huge fan of Raoul's. So, but also I'm a director there. The second thing is I have no financial advice whatsoever to give today, so I'm not going to give it. The third thing is I'll say what I can say is his notion that with AI, tech, and increasingly crypto abundance increasing with time, and also with machines increasingly making it possible for us to be more productive, a la free up more time, it's only natural that things that are decidedly human and important to us mimetically, sports, dance, love, memories, art, reading a good book, music, any of these things, these powerful human things will take on even more importance in our world. And if you can mix that mimetic, attractive, arresting human quality with some sense of ownership and also community, which is critical. By the way, we are such community beings. We're very social beings, and that's very important to us also. And we like to, show people our stuff and our toys. And when you go down that path, it's very reasonable to me to assume that art will increase in value over time. It's certainly true that art over the last 100 years has increased in value. But another way to say that to good Bitcoiners, I'm also a Bitcoiner, as you probably know, part of that is because the way we keep score, and gold, same thing, the way we keep score has gotten debased. In other words, art appears to be going up in value, but it's relative to the dollar or the euro or whatever it's relative to. But that doesn't mean necessarily that any particular piece of art or any particular digital collectible will have value or retain value. In fact, to the contrary, most art doesn't retain value over time. So what you have to do is When I was in a prior life at Sotheby's, I was often asked, "Is art a good investment?" And my answer was always the same, which is, buy only what you love if you can afford it, and then you will always love it. And for you, it will be a good investment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
So
that's quite a good
That,
answer. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's great advice.
yeah. By the
Yeah.
way, notice don't buy what you like, buy only what you love,
Mm-hmm.
and only if you can afford it. And then it's always a good investment
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Never disappointed.
Fair point. Josh, do you have any questions on your
I
end?
wanted to take a moment just to ask Tad if there's any topics you specifically want to talk about, any questions that we haven't asked you or any other creators haven't asked before that you want to cover.
Yeah. What do you guys think should be on my agenda?
I think, oh, Josh, do you want to start?
Gamification.
Yeah.
I got
That's
that.
the biggest thing. Yeah.
By
that's
the way,
just
and
the
I have
biggest
to
thing,
tell
think.
you, my CTO, if he should watch this, will be so thrilled because he's got a list of the gamification things he wants to add. So
Ooh,
yeah, I know. If he were on here, he might give you some hints, but you guys invited the wrong person. Next time you can get him.
Well, as long as you guys are thinking down that route, that's good. So
Oh no, we are all over it because it should be fun. Every aspect of it should be fun.
yeah.
I agree.
For me, it's definitely the community aspect of the whole space, because I mean, just a little bit backstory here. I collected Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh when I was 12. Then, like 20 years roughly, nothing to do with collecting. Then I came into the digital space because I wanted to make a quick buck and pay rent. But I mean, I'm now here for like the last 5.5 years. And I mean, we elaborated on that. That time was not a good time for digital collecting and making money. So the only reason why I've stayed here is like the community aspect. I've never experienced something that cool in my life before, and that like welcoming. Obviously, you have in every community some people that are,
Yeah,
but
you don't need to love every person in every community.
Exactly.
Let's put it like that. And by the way,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not always reciprocated.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. But for me, I mean, I would go the route of gaming as well, because I think it's really important to the stickiness of it. But I mean, gaming plays, in my view, into the whole community aspect of all of it. So having fun with like-minded people, getting in contact, etc. That would be on my agenda.
Yeah,
I
those
think
are excellent.
Yeah, I think
Go ahead.
if we also talk about marketing, I like we're in a time now where it's just all about clips, short attention span, and I think getting this in front of people and seeing their reactions to the digital collectibles or the the fandoms they grow up loving, I think that's a really key part as well. Cryptoys did this really well back in the day, where at events they would go around and they would get reactions of people in real time seeing their collectibles in AR, but it was the reaction that people bought into. And I think that's a really big part. It's the same thing in the gaming space with blind box openings. I'm not sure if you're familiar with CSGO, but you can buy and sell weapon skins. And a huge part of that game, they do over $1 billion in sales a year without even updating the game much. And it largely has to do with people buying into the reactions of people opening the blind boxes. And then, that content gets posted online and they opened a gold, it's worth 5,000 or whatever. And that, cycle continues. So the blind box openings are really key as well. But that just ties more into gamification. So, yeah.
So let me ask you one last question, guys. Was there anything I said that surprised you?
Not really. I mean, we can see
perfectly predictable interview.
No, not like that. But I mean, Josh and I talked before, and we were like, okay, that guy knows his stuff. And I mean, I had the feeling that you I mean know your stuff like we envisioned before. So not really anything that surprised me here. But Josh, anything that surprised you?
I'm still thinking about that AR question, but I think that was more my fault. I just asked it wrong. But no, nothing comes to mind right now. So
Yeah.
Great. Well,
yeah.
thank
Do you have like
both.
2 minutes for one last question? That would really
Sure,
be
far away.
cool. So I mean, the whole discussion was like around the fact that like the world gets more digital every day. But
Yeah.
I would like to get your view on the fact that if we go more in the digital realm, will we also seek more for in real life experiences? What is your take on that?
So yes in one way, no in another. Yes. Well, let me do no first. No is easier. The more time you spend in a digital realm, the less time you have for in real life experiences.
Mhm.
And by the way, we see that, right? I mean, one of the problems with kids is that they are sitting on their couch or plugged into their phone or playing video games and not out running around getting some exercise or getting some sunlight and some exercise. So that's not news. But so mathematically, you can't. It's sort of hard to be doing in real life and be engaged digitally at the same time. I think the things like the Warby Parker glasses or things like that will help
Mhm.
going forward. I don't know how well they work, but I'm sure they're working on it. But the yes part of it is this, which is the quality of the in real life experience will be more important and powerful and more memorable the more
Mhm.
time you spend with digital. Meaning how you spend your time when you're not digitally engaged becomes really important. And maybe it's standing in a line at the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Mhm.
Maybe
Yeah.
it is taking an incredible walk through a park with your dog and
Mhm.
your son or your girlfriend or whatever you got. Those are the kinds of things. Or maybe it is going to a really special baseball game. Next week, pinch me, I'm going to the New York Knicks finals game.
Nice.
I can't wait. And by the way, that's the first finals they've had, first game at the Garden for the finals
Mhm.
since 1999. This is a big deal. I will probably remember it all my life, hopefully for good reasons. And so the in real life experience. Now, mind you, I'll be taking selfies and go crazy with my phone, so it's going to be digital and in real life. But it's going to be a
Yeah.
principally in real life experience that hopefully will be epic and memorable and really special.
Yeah. Nice. I mean, nothing here on my end. Josh, any last questions?
I was just monitoring the chat, but I think we kind of got everything covered.
Yeah, Gotham World says go Spurs. I have to say, I do have tremendous respect for the San Antonio Spurs. They, I really do, and so I want the Knicks to win, but I do have tremendous respect for them for sure.
Are the Knicks your team?
Well, in a prior life, I was CEO of Madison Square Garden, which has the
Right,
Knicks. So yeah,
Yeah.
so the Knicks are the team I absolutely root for, my basketball team.
So I hope you still got.
And someone else just asked, am I a New Yorker? No, I grew up in Denver and I live in Florida. So
Okay. So I hope you still got like first row seats at the game, but I'm sure about that.
no, it doesn't work that way.
Oh,
No,
it
no,
doesn't?
no, it doesn't work that way.
Damn it.
It's not some kind of sinecure. It's StubHub, just like everybody else. So
All right. So
all right, guys, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much for
Likewise.
taking the time. It was a pleasure getting to know you. And then you are more than welcome to come on the show again. So if you ever want to talk about candy, just let us know.
That's very kind of you to invite me. Very kind to invite me again. And by the way, I would strongly encourage you, please, to invite my colleagues. They'll have different takes on it, and they have a lot of deep experience in this space. Most of them more than I do in different ways, and I think would make really excellent additions to your lineup. And so we very much appreciate what you do. We think you perform a really valuable service for the community and lots of the communities that we serve, and we thank you for it.
who would you like
very
to
much.
see next on our channel? Because you've mentioned who would be a great guest in your point of view for us?
well, of course, I'm immediately thinking about my colleagues. But that's not what you mean, right?
Are you,
Well,
like your
that's-
direct colleagues at Candy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
I,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. No, those would be the ones I would say. I mean, like Matt Novogratz, Matt Leibovitz. Those would be ones. Ryan Martin. There are a lot of good of them. Lots of good. Stephen Belzer would be really good. So there are lots of good candidates that I could think of from that experience.
Nice.
But one thing that also I would encourage you to think about is, how about some licensors? Meaning, we tend to talk to the people that are the digital side or the intermediaries, but really understanding why licensors or large brand holders want to do things in the space is, and what they care about and what's really important to them is really valuable for all of us.
Yeah, fair point. I will reach out again to Anthony, and maybe we can figure something out in that
Great.
direction. So thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, guys.
It was really cool. Have a great day and a great game. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nice.
All right. I'll put us back in the studio here.
Yes.
All right, ladies and
I
gents.
messed up the intro there, huh?
It happens. It happens.
Yeah. Fair.
If you guys have any other last questions, topics you want to cover, toss them in the chat before we wrap up. I'm not sure how much longer we're going to be live here. But Jan, what are your thoughts on that?
I really, really appreciated that discussion, and I think what I've said to him, I think you could really feel that he breathes like this space, and he has like a deep, deep, deep understanding of what licensors want, what the community wants, etc. So I think that was a really, really cool discussion here with him, and I mean we had him longer than we thought. So
yeah,
from my end, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Iconic how... Oh. Great interview, fellas. Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.
That is everything. I'm not going to lie, guys. I feel like I need to publicly apologize because I was not together there. My head was all over the place. So, but I'm glad people at least enjoyed the interview.
Dude, you did fine. It was a great interview. So
I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep, and it really hit me during that. Whatever, it happens.
Alrighty. So, should we wrap up here? I mean, for this special episode today?
Yeah, that's everything for me. So.
Yeah, from my end as well. And guys, thank you so much for being here. Meant a lot for us, even though we couldn't really incorporate your guys' questions in the chat, but great to have you guys here. And we would highly appreciate it if you help us get this episode with Ted Smith, the CEO of Candy Digital Scene. So yeah, share the YouTube video, share the stream on X. That would help a lot. And also, as I said, community is everything. And thanks for being in our community, and thanks for having us in your community. So yeah, I would say that's it. See you guys next time for another episode of Beyond the Drop. Ah, damn it.
Let's connect, let's connect, let's connect. We collect. We collect. The collector's going digital, and Jack collects.